Desistance. Of the masses of people lavishing the waves with praise for exploiting 12-year-old Zaya, I wonder how many are aware that approximately 80% of children who express or show signs of transgenderism or gender dysphoria do not maintain said expressions into adulthood. The Center for Addiction and Mental Health in Toronto has conducted at least 11 studies dating back to 1972 that all affirm the conclusion that among prepubescent children, the odds of natural resolution are very high, even without discouragement. That tendency is sometimes referred to as desistance. Detransition. If the increase in transgender media coverage is truly about acceptance and inclusivity, affirming their value, creating safe spaces for the marginalized, then why is there so little attention given to the detransition movement? Have you even heard of it? It's a movement of transgender people who regret transitioning and try to warn others about transitioning. People become marginalized after they've been generalized and stereotyped. Part of seeing the humanity of a group is seeing their individualism. Not everyone within a group shares all of the same views and values. If a platform aims to amplify trans voices but omits the detransition message, they're proving that they're not about the people, they're about the agenda. Dr. Money. If you're like me, you can remember a time when the terms gender and sex were interchangeable, but nowadays we're told that they're different. Sex being a binary classification based on anatomy, and gender being a classification based on one's own self-image. But when did their meanings become so different? Where do today's gender ideologies come from? Or more specifically, who do they come from? As it turns out, most of the gender theories being propagated today can be traced back to one man, a psychologist named Dr. John Money. John was born in New Zealand in 1921. He came to the States in 1947 and worked at Johns Hopkins University from 1951 until his death in 2006. He was a professor of pediatrics and medical psychology. Dr. Money helped establish their gender identity clinic in 1965. He was also involved with the Sexual Behaviors Unit, which conducted studies on sex reassignment surgery. In 1969, he served as co-editor on a book called Transsexualism and Sex Reassignment, which inspired more acceptance towards the identity and the surgery alike. The doctor received around 65 honors and awards in his lifetime. Have you ever heard someone describing gender as a social construct? That can be traced back to John's theories. Heard of phrases like gender identity, gender roles, or even sexual orientation? Yeah, they all come from Dr. Money. Sexual orientation in particular was coined specifically because the previously accepted phrase, sexual preference, sounded more like a choice, and people are inclined to be more accepting if they believe that it's not a matter of choice. Now, the topic of circumcision and the debate surrounding it could be worthy of its own separate video, but it does uniquely factor into the John Money story. I remember several years ago I was doing some research on circumcision when I came across the haunting tale of David Reimer, and in my next video I'm going to summarize his story, but I want to reiterate that this is a disturbing, true story regarding circumcision, so if you don't want to hear about it, then you might want to skip the video.